David Rubenstein here. Wanted to talk to you about insomnia. Recently, I have been at some holiday parties, and what I've found is that every one of those parties, somehow insomnia or not sleeping well has come up in the conversations. And I have to tell you, I'm personally alarmed at how intense the descriptions I've been hearing with my own ears, not to mention what I see in my day-to-day work with my clients. But it's become, I have to say, it seems like it's a silent epidemic. And let me tell you, in my opinion, between the epidemic we just had, the pandemic, and this one is much more dangerous. This people, I mean, if there was to be, imagine that if there was to be a situation where mass amounts of people couldn't sleep, you're talking about the complete breakdown of our society, utter chaos, complete chaos, because human beings begin to go crazy about 72 hours with no sleep at all. The military does studies on this and makes sure that all the people that go through their basic training go through a part of their training, which is to know what it's like when human beings don't get sleep. They themselves get to experience an utter breakdown of all cognitive functions. Hallucinations begin in just 2 days. So it gets really, really, really bad. Now, the physical damage that happens in the brain itself is the following. There's a buildup of a chemical called amyloid beta that'll take place. That amyloid beta is the brain's equivalent of a muscle's lactic acid. It's a byproduct. When you sleep, part of the purpose of sleep is to get that out of your brain. Get the liquid out of your brain, amyloid beta. And there's about 6 other ones of the same grouping. When you don't sleep, that doesn't happen. Plus, over time, it turns to a plaque. And this turns to Alzheimer's, dementia, and similar disease processes. Mentally and emotionally, without the ability to sleep, you can't repair from the emotional stress of a day-to-day event. So all of a sudden, if you're not able to sleep, the very smallest trigger turns into a gigantic drama in one's life because you didn't get any sleep. Depression, anxiety, persistent physical anxiety in the body is one of the things that will happen without sleep. You'll see people that don't sleep, they'll pace, they'll move around like they've had some sort of speed introduced into their system. It's not speed, it's adrenaline. Because that's all you have at that point. You don't have blood sugar to speak of that's functional as in a normal cycle of sleep and wake. Now you just have a flood of adrenaline. Now you're in a survival mechanism. You can hardly think straight. Sleep aids don't really help us except for as a temporary solution. And mind you, the sleep aid itself isn't going to help you with sleep debt. Let's talk about sleep debt. Most people out there are carrying some sleep debt. Very serious problem. Because until you pay that sleep debt down, you're never going to feel really refreshed from your sleep. See, refreshed sleep doesn't just happen. You got to plan for it. You got to make it happen. And that's what we do at TRM. We make sure that you get recovered and then refreshed sleep. Those two. Rather than waking up feeling exhausted or some level of fatigue every morning. That's getting up and trying to fight your day with your hands tied behind your back. You don't have the energy. So what do you have to do when you don't have the energy? Well, you rely on really the only resource you have, mental strength. Your mental strength is going to push the pedal down further. Because you don't have the physical, biological energy, you're going to force that energy to happen by recruiting more adrenaline. Because you're afraid of what's going to happen if you don't get it done or don't do it forcefully enough or whatever the problem is or whatever the task list is. When you don't have enough physical energy, You have to make it up somehow. And that's going to be made up through this. And what happens is you drain your resources 10 times faster when that's the mode you're working on. Now you're in survival mode. That's what survival mode looks like mentally. Every person, not every person, but almost every person that I'm meeting currently in the recent months, sleep debt is a problem. Not sleeping is a problem. Going back to the party description, there was a woman at a party she seemed like she was almost panicked because she said, I'm not sleeping, my whole family's not sleeping, what's going on? She's like wanting to know what is going on that has everybody not sleeping that used to sleep just fine. What's going on, she said. And that's just one of many such occurrences just in the last recent few weeks that I've seen personally. So if you're one of those people, you're also probably feeling very hopeless about your sleep, maybe about your life. It's getting pretty rocky hard out there. It's getting pretty crazy out there. We all need a little help. And what TRM can do for you is make sure that you get good sleep despite all the bad things that are happening in and around our environment, our world. There's still lots of great things and lots of great people, lots of wonderful things to be grateful for and appreciative of. Of course that's true. That's more true now than ever. That's what bad times do, is it helps us appreciate what is good. Anyway, getting to sleep is what you need to do for this to work right, for this to work right, for this to work right. TRM uses an approach to getting good sleep that's tried and true over a very long time. First thing we do is we get your body to be able to breathe right. And you'd think, well, why is that so important, Dr. David? Well, the answer to that is that in sleep disorders, 80% of all sleep disorders are just breathing problems. We fix breathing problems. Breathing is the basis of sleep. So people that have sleep problems have breathing problems, almost always. So by fixing that, that's one cornerstone, boom, we set that in place. The next thing we do is make sure that the person doesn't, their system isn't reacting to stresses in their life so much. We got to get the drama to come down. Your drama exhausts you. Look for people who support no drama in your life. Because if you're stressed out, the last thing you need is a lot of drama. When you go to sleep at night, make sure this is what you do with this. I want you to imagine yourself that you are a general store, like the old school kind of general store. And for this example, you're going to walk up to your front door. It's closed now. It's 5 p.m. and you're going to close shop. You're going to turn that sign over and it says closed. And you're going to turn your back on the public and you're going to walk away. And you're going to walk away so that what happens is that you send a message to your whole nervous system. I'm closed for business. I'm not here to do calculations. I'm not here to think about things and to figure stuff out. I'm in my bed to go to sleep. That's what I'm here for. Not to mention other activities, but that's a different thing. You got to get yourself to sleep. Get your mind to agree to it. And that is, I'm closed for business. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to go to sleep. Use your breathing that we've taught you. And if you haven't learned it, how come you haven't learned it? If you're not sleeping or if you're using pills to sleep, come in and see us. Give us a call because we're going to end that problem for you very, very quickly.